a nice introduction. Of course, Karma Yogi part is okay, fine. Kaumara Bhritya was a passion. It was a what you call. It is not choice, but by chance I entered into Kaumara Bhritya, and then I made it my choice and my profession. Even the same in case of Ayurveda also. This is what my teachers taught to me. If you are doing anything, take it with the passion and do it sincerely. So what I did is the same. Now going ahead with my topic of today's session, the session is particularly dedicated to Kaumara Bhritya and public health. Friends, public health concept in Ayurveda, it has come very recently. You can say in last one decade, it gained much momentum. Even in modern medical science also, public health concept is of very recent origin of maybe 50 years or so. Whenever public health comes into mind, I do remember the Kerala government's PHED, Public Health Engineering Department. So I was surprised, I was in the younger ages, I was thinking, what is public health engineering means? So when I came to the subject of medical science and public health topics in general, then I came to know, yes, this is what the public health means. So it is dealing with publics, generals, or our population in general, toto. Today's topic is research perspective of Kaumara Bhritya and public health. With reference to Ayurveda, as I said, it is a very new subject to Ayurveda. There are public health initiatives, public health research activities being conducted at different parts of the country. And some of them are very, very effectively implemented, and some of them have made policy changes too. The best example for policy change is the present pandemic situation and its management, which Government of India, Ministry of Health, as well as Ministry of Ayush has done. That is introduction of various Ayurveda immuno-boosting or immunity boosting recipes and practices. This is one of the very major public health initiative taken place in the recent past. Going ahead with the presentation, initial few slides will be about public health and success of public health, and then the research areas or potential areas of research. Since we have a lacunae, and second thing is the next presenters, two of them, they will be talking about very specific projects which they have conducted on under the heading of public health initiative. They will be presenting. Other than that, major things we don't have, so only research potential I am highlighting it. If you say public health, there are different definitions available, like from textbook of public health to American Heritage Dictionary of Public Health. Everything, if you concise together, it is a sum of all official or governmental efforts to promote, protect, and preserve people's health. People or public are the strength of nation. The society is the strength of the nation. Healthy society is the strength of the nation. So whatever measures we are taking for the society as a whole, which is preventive in nature, which prevents the communicable disease spread, application of healthy health and hygiene measures, all these things come under the wider arena of public health. So how can we avoid children from this? Because children are part of society. If you see the public health and the healthcare system in the country, of course, it is not applicable to India alone. It is applicable to world over. The public health model is a group of people, a group of individuals, or a society, or a bigger group, whereas the general medical system is targeting at one individual. The public health system involves community, healthcare delivery system, the employees in business, the media, the academia, and it all rolls around the government and public health infrastructure. The approach, if you see, the public health model is a large population-based approach, whereas general medical approach is individualistic. Disease prevention is the major part of public health approach, whereas general medical healthcare, it is diagnosis of the condition, treatment, intervention. It is all to individual, and it is more of the private side. Whereas in public health, it is larger population is involved, prevention is the main goal, health promotion is added to it, interventions, environmental interventions, behavioral interventions, dietary interventions, or plenty of other interventions are there. It is not specific to one individual, it is to the group, and public-centric or people-centric approach. This is what is the difference between the general healthcare system and the public health approach. What we see is a tip of iceberg in the hospitals. I'm talking of the individualist-centric approach. What we see is only the tip of iceberg, whereas there are a lot of things hidden behind. Not seen is pratyaksham alpam, aprathyaksham analpam. See, if you see from Ayurveda angle, everywhere you get some or other explanation in our texts regarding this. The core functions of public health, this is of course much discussed, and everywhere you can see, you might have come across with this since last 3 days, because this is published article available online free of this thing. And it is a group of activities total, starting from evaluation, monitoring health and all. It goes to the enforcement of law, policy decisions, all those things come under this. The core activities, as I said earlier, also preventing epidemics and spread of diseases, as we are presently doing in case of COVID infections, protect against environmental hazards. You're all well aware of this. Response to disasters, preventing injuries, road accidents and other things are very important in this. Promotes healthy behavior, assures quality, accessibility and accountability of healthcare service, monitoring the health status of the population, mobilizing community action, reaching out and researching. These are the various area activities which come under public health initiatives. We have a lot of successful models with us. One of the best model is vaccination. In my younger days, that is 1970s or 70-75 time period, smallpox eradication, smallpox vaccination, it was a big issue. 1,000 rupee was offered to a person who is identifying smallpox and reporting. This was the last phase of smallpox eradication in India. Now you remember the pulse polio vaccination, right? And polio free India. It is also a best example for public health initiative. All our vaccination drives. The government of India has introduced Operation Indradhanush also under this public health initiative itself. Then on the other hand, you have got motor vehicle safety. Motor vehicle safety aspects, you know that the punishment or the fine introduced is very high now, and this is all to make people aware of the safety aspects of driving vehicles. Safer workplace, there are a lot of laws and policies on this. Control of infectious diseases, you know very well about this. Decline in death from coronary heart disease and stroke or non-communicable NCDs, communicable diseases. Family planning is another example for public health initiative. The RCH, Reproductive and Child Health Program, the Mother and Child Health Program, and various other healthcare programs. These are all targeting the public as a whole and examples for good initiatives of public health. Now, the latest one is safe drinking water to all, the Swachha Bharat Abhiyan. The present very hot topic is COVID appropriate behavior. This is a public health initiative only. COVID vaccination, the Ayush Samvada. Ayush Samvada is a program, of course, it is launched by All India Institute of Ayurveda. However, it reaches the public at very light. It's one of the biggest public health initiative, creating awareness of the strength of Ayurveda in the public. This is Ayush Samvada. It's also an example for that. One more example which I want to quote here is the initiatives which we in the All India Institute of Ayurveda we have taken about the Delhi Police Health. During the first peak of COVID-19, we had distributed Ayu Raksha kits, which comprises of Ayurveda measures to prevent the infection, to prevent the severity of infections in COVID. Going ahead further, what Kaumarabhatya says. Why Kaumarabhatya is important in public health? The Kashyapa, the authority on Kaumarabhatya, he says, Kaumarabhatya Mashtanam Tantranam Adhyamachyate. Ayurvedasya Mahato Devanam Evahavyapa Anena hi Samvardhitam Itare Chikitsanti. That is the foundation of treatment or foundation of human race itself as childhood period. That is why our Upanishads say Balo hi Balam Rashtrasya, the strength of nation. This Balo hi Balam Rashtrasya is this statement which has come in thousands of years ago in our literature, is being reflected in WHO publications too now. Children are the strength of nation. It is coming. So they are very important in the public health arena. Children are very important. Public health in pediatrics, of course, in modern medical practice, also public health in pediatrics has come very recently. They do not have a very long history as such. The proportion of children suffering from chronic illness is increasing day by day. Chronic disease states previously seen only in adulthood, like hypertension, like obesity particularly, it is now seen in children also in an alarming number. Health inequalities and by social class, that is also one of the very important things. Advocacy to ensure environmental health, If we ensure all this children's health, ultimately overall population, the society will be benefited. Practitioners, as a practitioners of pediatrics or comorbidity as such, our role is also multi-skilled. It is not just treating the diseases, but preventing and training and awareness generation. This is also part of our duty. As you know well, because of all these things, as well as when we talk of research, children are vulnerable population. They are prone to many things, right from infections to mental status attacks. They are prone to many things. So the children are taken special care or special seat in public health care also. The potential areas which we, if we see from Ayurveda point of view, it starts right from conception or a planned pregnancy. Childhood or childbirth should not be an accident. It should be a choice and planned one. That is what Ayurveda texts also say, Garbha Samskara. This is an area where we can have a good public health initiative research perspective. Antenatal care, the Garbhini Paricharya has got very potential area of public health interest. Natal care or Prasava Paricharya, people from Kerala or people who are practicing the traditional medicines, for them these are all not new things. Postnatal care, Prasottara Paricharya or Sutika Paricharya, then newborn baby care, Navajata Shishu Paricharya. Then there are certain other areas like Samskaras. This is untouched area now. Importance of Jata Karma, importance of Namakarana, Nishkramana. These are all having impact on child individually as well as on the society also. Each society has its own practices. For example, Annaprashana. Annaprashana is practiced in different way by different societies. What is the impact of that? What is the social impact of that? That can be a good point for research. Coming to another area, newborn care and neonatal care, Abhyanga, oil massage. We say Abhyanga to be done right from birth. Immediately after birth, what we do is Baladaila Sechana. From there it starts. And Abhyanga Macharya Nityam we say. So it is practiced in the society. But what is the impact of that? What is the benefit of that to the child? This has to be researched out. Now I have written Shantala massage here. The Shantala massage is nothing but the massage mentioned or the baby massage mentioned in our classics, which is practiced in the society. The Shantala tribe of Odisha, West Bengal, they were practicing this, and one French gynecologist, he found this to be very effective. He popularized it. He was practicing in Latin American countries, and in Latin American countries, if you go, if you say massage, they immediately ask what is Shantala massage, because I had an experience like this. Then Snana, see, Abhyanga, oil massage, Snana, Prashana, these are the controversial things in the present neonatal care, in the modern present neonatal care. They say no to these things. But if hygiene and aseptic precautions are properly maintained, these are very beneficial practices. Prashana are not pre-lacteal feeds. Prashana should not be a substitute for the breastfeeding. It should be immunity boosting. It should be nutritive also. It should be supportive to the child. Stanyapana, Stanyavardhanopaya, breastfeeding practices, galactagogues, the herbal natural galactagogues. These are all points of public health importance. Raksha Karma, particularly protection of the child. In the later part of the slide, there is one slide I'll explain what is Raksha Karma, why, what is importance. Because in the Western countries also there are studies that if some impact has made in the early childhood period or childhood period, that continues throughout the life. Another issue in another area is dhupana or fumigation. It's again having antimicrobial effect. It is having health benefits. So these are all the topics which needs further investigation. Coming to another important topic is immunity and immunization. Ayurveda do not advocate immunization to a very specific disease. Of course, if I am saying this, it may be wrong, because if you see the literature in 17th, 18th century, when the British ruling entered India, some of the British doctors, they have noted that there was a practice of tika. That is, this particular, this is a published one. It is known as Holwell Studies, and tika karana or tika. Some Buddhist monks, they were taking something in the pot and applying on the prick on the shoulder or hands or any part of the body and apply something over that. It is attenuated serum of the one who suffered smallpox earlier. This of course, it is not highlighted much. So Ayurveda also says Viruddhabhi Samskriti concept is there, but still the present day practice, whatever we say immunomodulation, is not immunization. It is general immunity building measures. Nutritional aspects, seasonal and therapeutic diets, it is a strength of Ayurveda, and they have definite impact on the immunity of the child. Deworming practice is a single dose of albendazole giving in a particular time or once in a 6 months or so. It is okay, fine. It is pinpointed to intestinal worms. But Ayurveda texts and cultural practices had a different approach. You can see, if the people of Kerala will be well aware of this Karkataka Kanji, the Karkataka Masa, they are taking some spices and preparing food. Varsharutu Kala, Krimi Upadrava is much more during this particular period. If you come to little northern part of Kerala, that is to South Canara, Mangalore district and all, the Tulu speaking people, they have a practice of giving Saptasara plant. Saptasara plant bark they collect on a particular day. They prepare a gruel out of it and administer or take on a particular, it is a particular day. That is again Karkataka Amavasya they call, no moon day of Karkataka Masa, rainy season. That is good for worm infestation as well as for infectious diseases, particularly malarial fevers. Then another area is nutritional anemia or iron deficiency anemia. Yes, we have a lot of preparations. There are effective modern medications for managing iron deficiency anemia with some negative effects like metallic taste, vomiting sensation, pain in abdomen, and other. Whereas our preparations, when we are giving, some of them may not have iron in it at all. Of course, assimilation and absorption of iron from the normal diet, it enhances. They don't have such negative effects or adverse effects. The lifestyle practices like Dinacharya, Rutucharya, what are the impact of these lifestyle practices? It doesn't mean that a newborn baby should be practiced to Dinacharya and Rutucharya. It is not meaning that. It is meaning child who can follow the rules and regulations, they have to follow this. The local practices, as I said, Karkataka Kanji, special porridges and other things. Immunity boosting herbs and formulation, there are plenty of them. And lastly comes the Swarna Prashana. This is also a measure explained in Ayurveda for immunity or immunity enhancing measure. Another important area is Bala Rasayana or the tonics for children. There are a lot of tonics available without gold, and there is a small group of tonics available with gold also. Gold plays a very vital role. It is not yet explored. The reason is, see, a recent publication in the newspaper was this, it is in Hindi. Corona infection also can be controlled with the Swarna Prashana. I had an interaction with two scientists who are working on this, and what they said is the cytokine storm which is happening, that can be checked with the Swarna Prashana. This was their observation. Similarly, there is another study on Chavanaprasha also. Chavanaprasha is a bulk, or it is a treasure house of nutrients, chemicals, which improves immunity. Very recently, just tested, today only I came to know that there was a study in Germany on Chavanaprasha, and they said that 70% immune enhancing benefit you can get with Chavanaprasha. Of course, there are other drugs too, which gives more benefit. This slide explains about Swarna Prashana. I think the next speaker will be speaking on this. However, a day may not be far where we say that polio boond, do boond jindagi ki, the same thing can happen for Swarna Prashana also. General immunity enhancer. As a public health initiative, it can come into practice. These are other yogas, some of the other yogas which have shown a promising response in different clinical studies, not in public health generalized studies. Diet, nutrition plays a vital role. Ayurveda has got a lot of weaning foods explained. Ayurveda has got a lot of therapeutic diets explained. In Atisara, in the constipation or Vibandha, what type of diet is to be given. If Jwara is there, what type of diet is to be given. All those things. Kashyapa has explained a number of Yusha yogas for this. Growth and development is another area where Ayurveda's approach can help a lot in a research arena. And disease-specific managements, of course, plenty are there. Bhojana or Ahara, diet plays a very vital role. This is how highlights the importance of diet. And if you see the Vyadhikshamatva or immunity, it is explained in the context of Ahara only. Nityam Kshira Ghrita Abhyasa. This is another thing mentioned in our books, and it is practiced in the society also. What is required is documentation of it and recording. These are the different 25, 26 gruel preparations mentioned in Kashyapa Samhita. You can see each of them has got different specific ingredients like Mudgayusha, the Yusha, the gruel, the porridge prepared with the green gram. Likewise, it continues. Folk practices. There are a lot of folk practices in different parts of our country. In one of the practices, Oramarunu, it is practiced all over India in different names. In the southern part of India, it is known as Oramarunu, whereas in northern part of India, it is called as Balaguti or Janamguti. Similarly, Abhyanga, when you are talking of Abhyanga in southern part of India, of course, we have some specific oils, whereas northern part of India, you have got sarshap tail, that is mustard oil massage, or they do massage with the lal tail. Lal tail is a medicated oil which is good for children for their strength of bone and other things. Coming to the mental health concepts, of course, I just say one shloka mentioned in Arthashastra. Lalayat panchavarshani tadayat dashavatsari prapte tujodache varshe putram mitra vadacharet. Means how a child to be approached. It is very clearly mentioned here. The major areas of public concern are infectious diseases, yes, immunity enhancing measures and proper hygiene measures. If they are practiced, this can be checked with. Respiratory complaints like asthma. In Jamnagar, when I was there, we had a good number of studies on asthma management. The asthma because of allergy, asthma because which is not habitual, and in such conditions, Ayurveda definitely has a wonderful role to play. Nutrition, undernutrition as well as overnutrition, in both conditions we have interventions. Oral health and skin health, this is another area. Mental health, adolescent issues are a separate area where we can have good number of studies. Social and socio-cultural issues, this also to be addressed with. Coming to the strength areas, yes, the Ayurveda herbal drugs, low cost because of the availability, local resources, strong cultural acceptance because you are not adding anything which is known to them. Those only added to the practice in the form of medication, natural resources, locally available resources, simple practices with some slight modifications. Because of this, easy to establish, it becomes acceptable to the society. Safety is assured because you are not putting anything unknown things. Economic it is and does not require special skill or training on other things. So because these are the strength areas of Ayurveda, particularly in Kaumarabhutya, the different areas we can concentrate. Swarna Prashana is one area where we need public health initiative to studies. There is a study, of course, it is not shown here in my presentation. Japanese encephalitis and such presentations which are rampant in Bihar, certain districts of Bihar. One district was selected and Swarna Prashana was administered in a particular area, in a particular cluster. And what they found is the incidence of Japanese encephalitis in that particular cluster had drastically reduced in the next year. Oral hygiene measures, we have already taken in our institute oral hygiene approach for as public health initiative research. School health and performance, there are plenty of drugs available, just like Medhya drugs. This can be used in the school health performance. Mental health, Dr. Dinesh has, of course, has worked on that only, Saraswata Churna. And disease-specific studies, plenty of disease-specific studies are there. Those also can be explored with. So the role of a pediatrician or Kaumarabhutya expert is the public health issues is very important. It is not preventing diseases alone. It is not treating diseases alone. It is also promoting healthy lifestyles. These are the 10 issues as per the Journal of Pediatrics highlights, which has been accepted by Center for Disease Control and Prevention, World Health Organization also. I'm not going into the details of this. Primary healthcare, yes, the one which I was talking about earlier, I will show in the last slide is life course health development. Life course health development is that any impact in the life, any stage of the life, it has got a long impact later. You can see the last line. Retrospective studies conducted in United States regarding adverse childhood experiences have linked the number of adverse experiences to the prevalence of coronary artery diseases, hypertension, alcoholism, and illicit drug use decades later. That means something happens in childhood period, that damage can be carried through later also. Personality building, behavioral changes, all these things can happen. That is why probably in the text of Ayurveda, they said, Na chainam mitra sayed. The handling of the child, they have explained very, very specifically. If you are doing, this can happen. We don't have any data for that. We don't have any studies on that, but we have only textual information. This needs further exploration. The new definition of children's health, this is again accepted world over. Children's health is the extent to which individual children or grown-up children are able or enabled to develop, realize, satisfy their needs, develop capacities, interact successfully with their biological, physical, and social environments. Slight change. Again, if you see the explanation in our text, of course, a compact explanation is not given, but if you analyze the explanations given, it goes here only. With these words, I'm concluding my this presentation. Has got wide application. We need to conduct public health initiative research studies on this, and that will definitely will bring us or take us to a different arena, different world of itself. Thank you very much for inviting me for this session of 4th World Ayurveda Festival. Thank you very much.